Welcome to the show, or should I say welcome to the 4th season premiere of Give Me a Break. All this season I'm going to be coming at you with some rough, tough, and very, very serious topics that you at home do not want to miss. That includes stuff COVID-19, education, stuff from all over the news, especially Donald Trump getting the coronavirus. We got some pretty new stuff coming up in this new season. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. In just a minute. But right now, let's get started with our very first 4th season. Let's talk about the virus. The cases. Union West County, we're up 20,000 cases. And Harris County's got almost 150K. Plus, we had 534. Plus 534. Yet, and that's in this, deaths is almost over 2,500 cases. 425 deaths. None of recovered here. None of recovered here in Texas. None in the United States. 25.1 million recovered. Like I've said, every day on this show I tell you guys, always wear a mask at all times, period. There is no if, there's no ands, no but, no excuses, unless you have a medical condition which says you are not permitted to wear a mask. Which brings me to topic number 2. Couple weeks ago, or on my show, Give Me a Break Right Now, we dealt with such a case of an Ohio woman who refused to wear a mask because she had a medical condition. Was she arrested? Well, yes, she was. She was charged with trespassing. And after that, she was tased. You don't arrest someone just wearing a mask. The thing is, if you have a medical condition, then it says, if your doctor tells you that you have asthma, you cannot wear a mask. And yet what you have to do is realize that if you have a medical condition, you should just put on a piece of paper that you have a medical condition, you show it to the people, and that they will understand. That, oh, she has a medical condition, she cannot wear a mask. But how hard is it to wear a mask? It is not that simple. Wearing a mask is a very, very big deal. To you, to me, and to health officials. It slows the spread by 80%. These cases are going higher because nobody cares about the virus. And yet, social distancing, it is the big, big issue here. No one cares about social distancing. That is a very, very big deal here. I talk about it a lot. Stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask, and as always, if you need to take a break, just take a break. 3-minute break I would recommend. Just remember to stay 6 feet apart. And always wear a mask at all times. Alright. Our first break of the 4th season. Coming up. A couple days ago, the kids were back at school at Flower Bluff. We are going to be looking at some new things that was happening during this time as the maintenance was preparing for all this happening. That's next. Welcome back to the Season 4 premiere of Give Me a Break. Let's talk about the schools reopening. There are many times that many schools will be open in a week or so they decide to shut down because of everything that's happening. But not here at Flower Bluff. Flower Bluff's case, they want to reopen and stay open for a number of reasons, to make sure that they want to stay open for the remainder of the time. And last week or 2, Giving Me a Break Right Now, we talked about this. And I think it's best to review it again, just for those who missed it. So let's review. Using this video, we're going to review some of the instances that we're going to be happening. That were happening. You will be required to wear a mask at all times and sanitize your hands at the front entrance. That is a very big issue. You are mandated to sanitize your hands at all times to help stop the spread. At the front entrance, and in the cafeteria and in the classroom. 3 places. Front entrance, cafeteria, and the classroom. And there's 3 main entrances. The main entrance is the middle doors. The other entrance is the cafeteria. The other entrance is right by the library. Next, for dismissal, one side's going to be the other hallways, the other side's going to be the other hallways in the back. So, now let's talk about the social distancing. Again, this is a review, not a repeat. Those lines right there, you have to respect those lines. If you don't respect those lines, then I don't know what's going to happen. You really need to respect those lines. To maintain social distancing, do not go to the middle. Stay at the side. Once in the classroom, you will be required to sanitize your hands at all times. Also, they have those plastic things on the desk for all you students out there. They have to mandate you leave those on there. If it bothers you, well, tough. They ask you to stay on. And it stays on. That goes for your mask. If your teacher says you can take off your mask, then you can take off your mask. If not, you leave it on. You take it off, you may get in trouble. That's number 2. Number 3, actually, this is number 3. 4, new water fountains with a little trigger. That water fountain right there, that is off limits. No one's allowed to use that water fountain. Just bring in a water bottle, and then you can use that trigger to do your water bottle. Do the water bottle thing. Number 5, lunches. Now, this year for you guys, thought about saying, I'm going to go get me some Domino's. I'm going to call in favor and do some Domino's. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on there, Tiger. As I told you before, as I told you before on the last show, on the Right Now show, no deliveries, no online services, no stuff for parents. I understand that there's a Domino's, Dollar General, taco stand right across the street, and there's other restaurants like around that side, but it's a closed campus. You cannot leave campus because of safety reasons. The only times you're able to take off those masks is when you're eating or if the teacher gives you permission. If your teacher does not give you permission to take off the mask stays on. So for safety purposes, I would recommend you wear a mask all day, every day, except when you're eating. So again, no deliveries from parents or from any other people. So, no delivery from parents, no much on services like Favor, DoorDash, Postmates, etc. None of that. Even though they say on there doorstep delivery required, they're gonna find out what's going on. There's cameras everywhere. Next, the bus. If you ride the bus, you are required to wear a face mask or a face shielding. And when you get off the bus from school, you're going to go into the cafeteria. And then the nurse's office is is in room 109. Is in a different location in the school because of the reasons. If you're feeling ill or sick, you let your teacher know, and then everything will be taken care of. Now, how was the first day of school? Well, from what I saw on Monday, everything was turned out the way it was. Did everyone wear a mask? Well, not that I wear, not that I'm aware of. Turns out it went great. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. But I hope that this week will be the best week of school ever. We get to reopen. The schools need to reopen and stay open for the remainder. There are guidelines. And if you don't follow those guidelines, well, and there's still the hybrid learning going on. Like this week, all the kids will be in school, kiddos will be in school. The other week, they'll be going to doing their online learning. So at least try to remember that as we move through this COVID experience. Coming up, the word Karen. It's a name used in a lot of dictionaries. The very first Karen ever was from the People's Court. We're going to look into the definition of Karen and what it means and how you can avoid Karens after the break. Plus later on some reasons about schools reopening. Different reasons about schools reopening. Stay right here. Thank you for staying with us for the 4th season premiere of Give Me a Break. What is a Karen anyway? Well, according to Wikipedia, pejorative. It's a pejorative term used in the U.S. and other English-speaking countries for women perceived as entitled or demanding beyond the scope of what is appropriate or necessary. A common stereotype as a white woman who uses her privilege to demand her own way at the expense of others. That's an okay Karen. What does that mean? Well, according to Hoda and Jenna, it means the term generally describes an entitled woman who's hearing demands of hearing requesting to speak to the manager. It's from the name Catherine. Catherine in America, however, it's a name derived from Middle Iranian. It's also found in modern Africa as well as East Asia. That's where it comes from. So how do you avoid Karens? So now the question is, if I come across a Karen, how do I avoid those Karens? Well, there's a lot of tips happening, but we're going to have time for 4 tips because this is a half-hour show. There are lots of ways to deal with these Karens. I mean, there are videos out there on YouTube from other people who, I mean, it's just a Karen. If some Karens would come on the show, and some Karens are racist. The very first Karen that I could think of was from the People's Court, where this lady was a racist. That's a good side of being a Karen. That's from a Karen Bob. That's a mistake 1. I mean, just avoid them. If a Karen approaches you, you walk away. If they're harassing you, you call the police. Those are a few things to remember. You just gotta avoid the Karens, and they start harassing you, you call the police. If they start to assault you, you press charges. You take them to court. Justice will be served for those Karens out there, and everyone here just needs to understand that we're all equal here. just don't read the Karen's post. If it pops on Facebook like this, just avoid it. Don't speak of it again. Don't even talk about it with your employees at work. I don't know if any other tips we can find, but if I find some tips, I'll be sure to. These are the only tips I can help find, but if I will find some more tips to help you out through, then we'll do so. Alright, a bit later on, I'm going to tell you some new segments that are happening for season number 4, including lunch break and dinner break. I'll explain what that means a little later. But next year, schools reopening, we're going to look at 10 facts about school reopenings during this pandemic and what it means to you. We're not scaring you here, we're just giving you the facts. And we'll present those facts when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Going back to the Karen situation, I have found some tips for all you people that don't want to be Karens. How to avoid being a Karen. Don't reserve teats for compliments. Have beef, give it a day. Let it go. Those are just a few, but if there's any more, we'll let you know. Now, going back to school pandemics, I mean, all the schools are reopening. Here are the 10 facts. And again, we are not scaring you. We're trying to let you know what's happening, not scaring you. 1. Half of the American school districts plan to start the year fully in person. Part of that is that approaches to the pandemic education of going to be varied, like in California. Next, those served a high percentage of students from poverty are more likely to be fully remote. It's just the poverty thing. This is from the CREP report. High poverty districts were much less likely to plan complex and likely more expensive hybrid learning. Number 3, schools and districts are changing their plans constantly. They have something called hybrid learning, like we talked about earlier. That means in some days, some weeks, they'll do parts of remote, some parts do in person. Number 4, for students who are in school, one analysis found a 0.071% infection rate. If you read the news and around this question, you are likely bounded with cases. One school cases in 100 different New York cities. Cases are going high. 5, teachers and staff were affected at a rate of 0.19%, more than twice the rate of students. A study of schools open in the UK through the summer, for example, found 70 cases among students out of 843,130 total students. Among them, 128 total staff. Next, schools have closed temporarily because of positive cases. That's possibly another thing happening if schools will be open. Next, hybrid learning models are necessarily better because of the infection rates with lower students. Most schools are taking precautions. Public schools are taking fewer than private ones because of issues that I'm not going to explain here. I'll explain later. It's not clear yet how much schools are driving overall rates of COVID-19 communities. In the U.S., U.S. schools are open in many places, but there are procedures people like to follow. Next, we need more data. Florida has a lot more data. All schools need to have a lot of data. It needs to be happening all over the world. And if there's no data, you cannot know who has or has not gotten the virus. Try to understand. All 50 states need to have the data. If you don't have data, it sucks to be you. Coming up, new things going to be happening in season 4. We'll tell you about that next. As I said at the beginning of this broadcast, we're going to be giving you some hard studying kick-ass topics, very serious topics that you want to look out for, and how to avoid these topics that we talked about, like the Karen, for instance. Just try to avoid them. Walk away if you need to. Like we always say, don't talk to strangers. A couple new things we're going to add in season 4. Dinner break and lunch break. What that means is a plate of dinner while I discuss you these topics. Lunch break, same thing. Sometimes we do it during Wednesdays when I'm off. Sometimes we do it during the nighttime. In this office or somewhere else. But I'll try my best to get you these topics any way I can as we progress. That's all for this edition of the season. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Friday. Have a great night, everyone.